This is the last section where you come up with the funding for your business. Now that you've come through the financial planning process, come up with the financial statements, the balance sheet, the income statement, and the cash flow statement, using your assumptions to come up with the financial model based on your business plan. Basically, you're coming up with the numbers based on the story that you have that you're selling to your investors. Then you come up with a value for your business. You've done all of this maybe without even starting the business yet. This is all a plan. This is all on paper. You have a story that makes sense. You have numbers that reflect that story, and you came up with a valuation using some sort of valuation method, whether it's DCF, discounted cash flow, or multiples valuation. Now you have some bulk figure of valuation that you can compare yourself against when you talk to investors. So what sort of investors would you be talking to come up with the capital that you need for the business? There are different sources. I'll limit here the sources to 10. And these sources, some of them have already probably gone through, some of them maybe you need to go through once you do your valuation. The first and foremost number one source is basically you as a founder. Maybe you have enough capital to start your business, or maybe you have some just a small portion of the capital needed to start your business. The investors usually they want to have the founders to have some, as you say, skin in the game. You need to have some money of your own put into the business. If you start a business with borrowed money, maybe you have what we call the moral hazard. You're not really caring much about the business, so I want to make sure that you're putting some money into the business as an investor before I invest with you. So the number one source is you as a founder, putting some money out of your own pocket into the business. Number two, your family and friends. If your family and friends trust your business model or your business plan and financial model enough, they can maybe give you some money to invest with you. Some investors, early investors with the startups, they actually make a lot of money for their family and friends if they really believe in them, rather than going to some expensive bank to borrow from that bank, and this would cost them a lot, and maybe it would be a bit a headache in terms of the cash flow requirements that you have to pay, because you have to pay interest expense. So they would rather go to the family and friends first. So this is number two source of funding, your family and friends. Number three, you can go to an angel investor. Angel investor is basically an investor who invests in startup companies that they know for sure that they could actually have some percentage of failure. So they want to diversify their investments. They're not just investing with you, they're investing with tens of other companies, and they want to give you some portion of that funding that you need, just in case if you have a percentage of success, that they actually make a lot of money on that just one investment. So even though they know that there's a high percentage of failure in startups, they still want to invest with you because they want to take your risk, and against that risk, they take a percentage of your business. So if you value the business fairly enough in the previous sections, you'll be able to negotiate with the angel investor the percentage or the stake that you'll be giving up to them against whatever the funding that they will provide you with. Number four, crowdfunding. If you know the family and friends, of course, if you know some angel investors, maybe you don't know any of the investors, you can use one of the crowdfunding platforms that are available globally, and you can put your business plan on there and do the proper registration, and you can get some funding from the crowd. Crowdfunding is basically kind of diversifying away the sources of funding that you can get. Instead of just looking for one investor, you can look for maybe tens or hundreds of investors to take part in your business by giving you small amounts, and they add up to the required capital that you need. Number five, there are subsidies. You look for maybe supranational entities or even your local government. They could be providing some subsidies for startups. And now with the drive to grow SMEs around the world, you probably see some governments allocating some funding for startups. So take advantage of that possibility or available funding that are provided to startups, and maybe you can apply for the subsidies. And again, some of these subsidies could be without taking any stake in your company, so it would be cost effective for you because you still retain 100% of your business, or it could be asking for maybe a small percentage like 10% or 15% of your business. Again, it will all depend about your valuation. How much fund are you giving you against what percentage? So you know exactly how much are you giving out. Number 6, if your startup is already started and generating some revenues, some cash flows, and some profitability, maybe you can go to the next phase. You can go to a venture capital or a private equity firm. And these are investors similar to the angel investors that actually invest in companies that already have some proven concept. Now they have some business, they have some products that they've sold, they have some short, at least some track record, even if it's short in nature. They have something to show for. So you can go to venture capital, you can go to a private equity, and again they'll discuss with you or negotiate with you the valuation of your business. So if you know your business inside out and you know the assumptions that you're making, you can negotiate a good deal, because the higher the value that you come up with your valuation, given the assumptions or the proper assumptions, the less stake that you'll give out to those investors. Number 7, debt financing. You can also go to the bank, but you don't really go to the bank unless you have some profits to show for. If your company is loss making, probably or most likely the banks will not really lend you any money. You need to see some profitability. You need to see at least some operating profit before they can give you some money. And if they give you some money, sometimes or most likely they will have, they require some collateral from you. The collateral could be something from personal or could be the assets of your business. So you have to be careful when you go to the bank, because regardless of what happens to the business, you're gonna have to pay the bank back. So this is a bit risky, even though it costs a little less than the equity. Remember the cost of equity and the cost of debt. Cost of debt is less than the cost of equity. However, it's a bit riskier for you as a business if the business doesn't do well. If the business does well, the cost of debt or the taking on debt will be much better for you, because all the profits will be just going back to the equity holders, including you as a major stakeholder. Next, there are some alternative methods of financing. Number 8, you can use what we call factoring. Factoring is basically you can factor some of the assets that you have sitting on your balance sheet to generate cash flow today. Remember the income statement? When we talked about revenues, and when you sell on credit, you create what we call accounts receivable, and this sits on the left-hand side of your balance sheet and the current asset side. But the accounts receivable could be collected over time, could be collected within a year, maybe 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, whatever. It takes some time to generate or to cash out those accounts receivable. But if you use factoring, you can actually go to a factoring company and give them a title to those accounts receivable, and they can give you cash flow today at a discount. So for example, let's say you have accounts receivable for $100,000, maybe you can get that $100,000 today, but only get maybe $90,000 of them. So this helps you generate some cash flow today without giving up the cash that you have on the balance sheet. Number 9, another alternative financing method. We talked about factoring. Factoring is usually done for the current assets. But what about the long-term assets? Still again on the asset side, you want to make some investing decision, you want to invest in the production line. This would require a lot of expenses, which we call CapEx, capital expenditures. Maybe you don't have enough cash right now, or you want to preserve all the cash that you have for, let's say, marketing, for R&D. So what about the capital requirement that you have for the production line? Should you buy it right away now, pay it in full from your own sources, or what do you do? Another alternative source of financing is leasing. So leasing is basically almost like taking on a debt to be collateralized with the asset that you're acquiring. This would be a long-term asset, could be a production line, and basically you'll be paying kind of installment every year, could be every month, to pay for that asset over time. So it could be paid out over 5 years. So instead of paying this $10,000 for a vending machine, for example, no, you can actually pay just an installment, which is your leasing monthly payment, and this would be much less than the $10,000. This will help you reserve some of the cash to use somewhere else, to use for marketing, to use for R&D. Again, this is part of the financing source that you can think of to preserve your cash. Number 10, you have the suppliers. Don't forget that you deal with other companies for whom you are considered their client. So you are a client of the suppliers. And the suppliers, they want to also sell their products and services to you. So they can actually give you some good terms, credit terms to sell their products. So make use of that. So maybe you can pay later. This would create, of course, the accounts payable on your right-hand side of the balance sheet. So instead of paying all the cost for the inventory that you acquired today, maybe you can pay maybe in 3 months, in 4 months. So if you can negotiate good terms with your suppliers, this would be another source of finance for you. These are 10 sources of funding. If you make it all the way to be a successful startup business, maybe you could go to the last step, which could be another source of funding if you go public. Going public is basically the ultimate goal for all startups. Not just getting on new investors, because investors who join you in the beginning, they're not just joining in for the long haul. They want to join in before you make a successful business proposition, and they can actually make gains on their investments later on when the company goes public. For example, like Facebook, when they went public, all the different companies like Amazon, all these companies started as startups and they had some funding from investors early on before they went public. So if you go public, it's not just that their angel investors or the private equity investors or your family and friends are cashing out on some of their investments, or even you as a founder, but it's also opening up new opportunity for you or new channel for you to fund your business. You can raise capital now in the market. If you raise capital in the market, now you're a public company, and now you have to, there are costs, of course, being a public company, like disclosure and so forth, but now you have the whole market that you can go for to raise more funds for your business to grow to the next phase. This concludes our course, Finance for Startups. As a startup owner, you need to make sure that you plan well for your business. Failing to plan is as planning to fail. Your plan has to be making sense, has to be in line with the numbers that you're putting through. You have to benchmark your numbers, make sure that your actual numbers are matching your plans. If not, you have to adjust your plan. You come up with your forecast. Every now and then you need to update your forecast, and as a result you need to update your valuation. If your business is successful enough, the valuation will grow. Maybe one day your company will be a unicorn company worth more than $1 billion. Best of luck, and thank you very much for your time.